what happened was when I finished with the Isle of Man College, I had stacks of notebooks in which I had made a note of all the lesson plans that I'd delivered over the years. And of course, I needed to have a clear out and have a bit of space. So I thought I'll start by typing all the lesson plans up one by one. And when I'd finished one book, threw that in the dustbin, went on to the next one. And I got to realise that actually, of course, I had repeated a number of these lessons a number of times. And then I had a light bulb moment and realised that they were in themes. So these themes varied from the seasons to the elements to the chakras, for those who know that term. So I put them all into different themes. And I always had, at the back of my mind, I thought it'd make a nice little book for teachers mainly. Now I've extended it to teachers and keen students.
So it's open to anyone, really. I mean, it's not the sort of thing that's inaccessible. If you're either a keen student or someone who's done a little bit of yoga, or indeed whether you teach, it's the sort of thing you could use. And again, because it's not a massively big, heavy book, you could keep it in your yoga bag.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's something that you can. It's a resource that you can keep in your kit bag, along with your register, your first aid book, and your torch. Yeah.
All the essentials.
All the essentials.
You seen it, Beth? You had a quick look?
I had a quick look, yeah. It is beautifully done, Sue. And the run-up to Christmas, it would be the perfect present, as we were saying earlier, for anybody who's interested in yoga. But I'm just wondering, from the point of view of going through the instructions, how did you find that process of making sure you explain everything as carefully as possible so people get the right idea?
Well, it isn't quite as simple as that, Beth, because, as I've said, it's really for teachers and keen students who know what the postures are. Now, that doesn't mean that people who have only been doing yoga for a few weeks wouldn't find it interesting, but because I haven't put diagrams in, it's simply a list of names of the postures, the asanas. So you would need an app to go to or a book handy to look them up if you're doing it at home. So I have to be quite clear about that. I don't want to be done under the Trades Descriptions Act.
And in terms of yoga for you, I mean, we're talking about the teaching and that side of it, but from a personal side of you, I mean, is it something you still practice fairly often?
Yes, I've come straight from a class right now. Yes. Well, as you know, I worked for the newspapers for many years, but yoga was always something that I've done alongside of my other life. So it meant, in a way, that was the time to switch off the computer. I'm going out to my yoga class. So I've always done it, and you talk about work-life balance these days, and I think yoga provides the perfect balance to the busy life.
And you were saying, or Beth, you were mentioning there about the sort of diagrams and such like, and as you were saying, so this book is very different, and that's, again, you would pick up a lot of yoga books if you go into the library or go into the bookshops or whatever. Yes, you do see lots of diagrams, lots of descriptions, and there are many, many books out there. I think this book, as you say, is different because it just is themed. It's not sort of specifically telling you how to do balasana or tadasana, the mountain pose. It's not going through the instructions of how to get into those poses. It's actually using a sequence of these poses and taking these different themes. So like I say, you've got fire, you've got air, you've got like the seasons. Where did you get the idea for the themes from? Did you say, so was this just really sort of a culmination of all your experience put together, thinking, yes, I can actually put them into these themes rather than just sort of giving straight sequences?
Well, I think that because I've given so many lessons over the years, that it's as much about keeping me interested as keeping the students interested. And I'm quite a sort of creative person, if you like. I don't paint or write, but other than newspaper stuff. But I like to be creative in whatever I do. And I like the idea of my lessons being based on a particular theme. So if, for example, it was Hopchine night, then I would come up with a sequence of postures that would engage the students and have a little bit of fun at the same time. Do you understand? So a posture, for example, that we would call warrior 1 could suddenly become a witch on a broomstick, just for example. So we're keeping it fun as well as there's a serious intent, because all of the sequences have been tried and tested by myself and my students, and they fit into the principles of Hatha Yoga, which is balances, counterbalances, standing postures, inversions, etc., etc.
And people want to find out more, of course. So saying the asanas, I mean, this book is a wonderful, as you said, Beth, a stocking filler or something, great one for anyone's teaching, or, as has been mentioned, a keen student. If you wanted to know more about the basics of yoga, more about the asanas and such like, there's also, I know I've done the course with you myself, the British Wheel of Yoga Foundation course. So you'll be running that again next year?
Yes, I will, Howard, yes. Now, I have pinned my colours to the British Wheel of Yoga, which is the overarching governing body for yoga in Great Britain. And I did my British Wheel of Yoga diploma in 2000 and it took me 4 years to get that diploma. It was very hard work. I think there's only a handful of us on the island that actually have that qualification. And I followed that up by becoming a British Wheel of Yoga Foundation course tutor. And as Howard's mentioned, I've run that course twice. I'm going to be embarking on the third one. And really, it's described as a self-development course rather than an academic achievement course. So as long as you've done yoga for about 2 years, you can come on the course. It's run on one Sunday a month throughout next year, and it covers all the topics that you haven't got time to cover in a normal yoga class.
And where can people find out more information about
Well,
doing that?
they can just contact me on Facebook or email suew@manx.net.
And where can people get the book from, Sue?
That's the
book?
$1 million question,
Oh,
isn't
the
it?
million
Yeah.
dollar Well, I'm going to be signing copies or just selling copies tomorrow from 1 o'clock at Shakti Man in Ramsey, that beautiful shop in Parliament Street. And after that, it'll be available either directly from myself or from the Bridge Bookshop in Ramsey and Port Erin.